Added to that, 8 copies of Diablo that cost 1 ink, 4 copies of Diablo that cost 2 ink. This is a very consistent shift Diablo deck.
And there is the trophy that we are competing for. Only one of them is going to get to carry that trophy and lift it aloft as the crowd here in Dortmund cheer, and only Baker and Rebecca could be the ones to bestow that trophy upon our champion. This is very exciting. We're also a lot earlier in the day than we were at Ghent, where this final round went on and finished at half midnight. So we're actually ahead of schedule here, which is even better. So when everyone's finished, they can go home and rest easy without it being too late. What a nice way to put that cherry on top of what is already an amazing tournament. But my goodness, we have seen some absolutely amazing decks. I will say, I'm a little bit divided here, because on the one hand, in the finals, for the finals, not the grand finals, there were some Ruby Sapphire decks in both brackets. I obviously chose that as my winning deck. Sadly, neither of them made it. However, Alex is on Team Ed.
Okay.
And if I get Alex up to that grand champion, I win the draft.
I don't think that's how it
that is
works.
quite literally how it works. I get 500 bonus points, and therefore I absolutely stomp all of you. I think I deserve at least some recognition for getting it right.
I would agree. That would be a really impressive prediction. Alex, not a player actually on my radar, I'll be honest, coming into this weekend. But this is what these Disney Lorcana Challenge events are all about. This is the opportunity to make a name for yourself as a player. And both of our Illumineers have more than done that. I was watching Alessandro's, I think, quarterfinal top 8 game against Emerald Steel, and it was so impressive. Their pace of play, how quickly they were able to make their decisions. But look at that, Ed. Our players are sat down. The trophy is on the table. And I think it might be time for some Disney Lorcana trading card game action.
This is going to be absolutely spectacular. And a best of 5. Will it need to go that far? Or will we see a swift 3-0 victory from someone? Do you know what? A lot of me doubts it's going to be that simple with these kind of decks, with these players that are incredibly good at piloting these decks. We've seen that happen. We've seen how good they are, and I hope we get to see something interesting. Right, so we are going to have Alessandro going first.
It seems that way. I think it's actually a re-roll because it was an equal roll, but it looks like it will be Alessandro going first. If you're wondering why we're not using seeding to determine who goes first here, well, both of these players have been battling their way through separate tournament brackets entirely, essentially winning their own tournament each, and this is where those 2 tournaments, the Friday and the Saturday, converge. There's the handshake.
We're ready to kick things off, Joe. Let's get this grand final underway. This is going to be incredibly exciting. I can't wait to see even how this game one's going to go just from the altar phase.
Yeah, let's really try and lock in here, everybody, and pay attention to those altars. Alessandro, going to be looking for that Diablo shift line. Alex, can you find a bare necessities, perhaps, to make things a little bit awkward for Alessandro? Well, that Devoted Herald is in the hand. The ideal line, of course, is going to be to shift that Diablo, discard, pull the lever, and sing Friends on the other side.
We do see the Under the Sea in the hand as well. I think there might even have been a wrong lever in there. So this could very well...
It's a big altar. It is 5 cards. The 2 that were kept was that Diablo Maleficent Spy and that Devoted Herald. Alessandro is playing risky here. They are looking for that Friends, looking for the pull the lever, and looking to get off to the perfect start. Alex on the other side, strength in hand, Ursula Vanessa in hand. Looks like they're going to be getting rid of Beast, the Aerial Whisper, and then just making a few important decisions. In fact, it's the opposite way around.
Oh, it's the other way around. So we are keeping that aerial, ethereal voice. We know that that's going to be incredibly useful whenever those songs are sung to just get a card draw, keeping those resources up, making sure we've got options as the game progresses. Look at that shuffling as well. Look
impressive.
At the speed of that.
I could never.
That makes me look utterly incompetent when it comes to shuffling. So here we go. The altar phase is coming to an end, and we're going to get into the Disney Lorcana Challenge Dortmund Grand Final imminently, and I can't wait to see how this goes, Joe.
Here we go. It's going to be Alessandro kicking things off. Of course, that Diablo shift line was kept. It looks like a second Diablo has been drawn. Gotta say, against Amber Steel, not the biggest fan of shifting Diablo every single time. But Alessandro kept that in the altar phase, and we're gonna have to look back on that decision in a little bit. Alex on the other side, I can see an Akud, I can see a Cinderella, and I can see an Aurora. It's gonna be Elsa into the Inkwell, and Alessandro gonna surely be kicking things off with Maleficent Spy.
We even get to see that incredible Cinderella, stout-hearted, and a Rapunzel gifted with healing. Yeah, let's swap those.
Yeah, thank you very much.
The other way around. Now they're in the final. Now here we get to see the entire hand. That Cinderella, ballroom sensation, Aurora holding court. The Rapunzel gifted with healing, the Cinderella stout-hearted, Ursula Vanessa, and of course Akud et Imuti.
Yeah, and we do have an untimed final here, so both players encouraged to make a reasonable pace of play. I've seen Alessandro play, and they are a very quick player. I do not expect that to change, but this is a really big skill, paying attention to that right now.
We've just seen a Let the Storm Rage On come into hand early as well. Very useful to have as we get into the next turn, where we're likely to see that Diablo shift. We're immediately going to be able to get rid of that and draw a card. That will be incredibly useful. We're going to see that Aurora get inked, and Cinderella.
Ursula Deceiver is a big top deck here, but doesn't find it. The Alessandro can shift Diablo, but there's no turn to Ursula Deceiver, and that could be monumental.
There we see another Diablo, Obedient Raven coming down as well. And that's going to be just one you don't necessarily want to banish to make sure you're not giving card advantage to anyone. So we are going to immediately do what I just said. We're going to sing Let the Storm Rage On to immediately dispatch that Diablo Devoted Herald.
Yeah, but Alessandro will still draw for Diablo because the 2 damage is put on it, the card is drawn, and then there is a check on the board which removes Diablo from play. So Diablo does see that card being drawn, which is why Alessandro draws that 1 extra card here.
Thank you for the explanation. It's always good to make sure we get these rules right, to make sure that everyone watching understands exactly the way that those go into the bag.
It is going to be Alex inking that Cinderella, stout-hearted Ursula Vanessa on turn number 2. Not the most impressive curve without Akud, but control is so important.
Now we're going to immediately see Peter Pan Shadowfinder come down with Rush. So immediately challenging into that Cinderella ballroom sensation, leaving only that Ursula Vanessa on Alex's board. And we are going to quest with that Diablo.
Yeah, questing for 1 second law of this grand final. Alex with Ursula Vanessa on the board. Singer 4. That 1-4 stat line really helpful for Rapunzel as well, but also could be singing something like And Then Along Came Zeus.
We do see that now in hand off the draw as well. We're going to be inking that Rapunzel gifted with healing for that Pete, and then we're going to sing Along Came Zeus to get rid of Peter Pan Shadowfinder. No more evasive, no more rush, no more other characters with evasive gaining rush. Thank you very much. That's going to get banished.
Yeah, and we talked about the key thing for Alex in this matchup is using those songs to remove those evasives from the board. And so far, so good for Alex. Diablo and Peter Pan down, but here comes the Genie.
We have seen Diablo Spiteful Raven get immediately inked, and Genie, that is great, seeing that wish fulfilled for the extra draw. Also evasive, questing for 2, and now we're going to see that shift Diablo that's now exerted, which means Alex is already going to start giving Alessandro some more cards, and we do see off the top there a friends on the other side. So now over to Alex for his turn. I think we see the 2 different ethereal voices in hand.
Yeah, Alex has dealt with 2 evasives already, but suddenly, in a single turn, Alessandro responds with 2 more. It's a big reason this Diablo is so powerful. That cost to shift it, allowing you not to pay any ink at all and get a lot of tempo. Really important turn. Alex wants to remove this Diablo before drawing any more cards, but it might not be possible here.
It might not. We can see that Akud et Imuti just hanging there in Alex's right hand, considering utilizing it right now. We are going to be inking an aerial ethereal voice to play the aerial, but we don't have any ink available for that boost. Not that you'd want to with the singing, because that would then give more
big moment, because there has been that Ursula Deceiver drawn, and as far as I'm aware, if Alessandro's memory is good enough, he knows about that Akud in Alex's hand from the very first turn. But this is where that skill of memory comes into play. Alessandro, what are you going to do? It's going to be a pull the lever, draw 2 cards.
That's a good use of getting those in. We're going to see. And there it is, that Ursula Deceiver going to snipe that Akuda Temuti out of Alex's hand. That's definitely going to cause a little bit of problems with trying to reduce the cost and getting that extra card. But now we head back to Alex.
Ed, I've got to say, I'm a little bit surprised from Alessandro going for the card draw of pull the lever. There was a serious argument there to check the hand with Ursula first, see what's in Alex's hand, and then if you see that Beast Tragic Hero, very tempting to pull the lever and discard that card. But here comes the Beast. Can Alessandro deal with it?
Now, we've just seen the only copy of Aerial Sonic Warrior getting inked right there. And like you say, we see that Beast Tragic Hero on the board. That's going to keep drawing cards unless we've got damage.
Yeah, and I did see earlier on, as Alessandro is going to ink the Ursula, it's going to be Peter Pan, and there it is, Ed.
Oh, that's exactly what you called. And here we go. That wrong lever has been put into the discard.
Wow.
We've removed that character. That has been a great move there. Still with that exerted Diablo Devoted Herald. Only one card in hand for Alex. This can be a little bit difficult at this point. We are going to boost that Whisper Aerial there. The ethereal voice. Now, whenever a song gets played, such as this one here, to get rid of that Diablo and let the Storm Rage on. And like you said, they know how those rules go. We are going to see a draw on there, and we're going to see that Diablo Spiteful Raven get drawn by Alessandro. But now we've got a couple of cards in hand for Alex. It's at least going to help get some more cards in there because we were starting to look a little bit thin.
Yeah, and the aerial ethereal whisper there is going to draw. Diablo will not see that happen. So that is a really good job from Alex. Beyond the Horizon comes through, discarding the hand of Alessandro. 4 cards discarded and only 3 to replace them.
Now, what can we see that's just been drawn off that Beyond the Horizon?
Alessandro's shaking his head, doesn't seem too happy. This is a one-off Beyond the Horizon. And then along came Zeus.
Wow. Okay, so now we're going to ready up. Like you say, Alessandro wasn't looking too happy. We're just going to go through and check this discard, see what's in there.
It is a back and forth game. We can see exactly why both of these Illumineers have made it all the way to the Grand Final. I am loving the pace of play as well.
There's a pull the lever, and we do even see a wrong lever in hand. We've got a bunch of different things. There it is. Wrong lever going to get rid of the aerial ethereal voice.
Yep, and it's really, really useful. If you use Bruno on that, both the boosted card and the aerial go back to hand. With the wrong lever, straight to the bottom of the deck they go, the boost and all.
An absolutely optimal use of that, and then we see that Diablo Obedient Raven as well. Now back over to Alex. We're going to ready up that ink. We need to see what exactly Alex has in hand. We can no longer get the draw off that aerial ethereal voice. So how is Alex going to deal with this? At this point, it's 10 Lord to 0. Alex needs to start stepping up. We do see that Aurora holding court coming through. And now we're going to spend 3. Alex is thinking about this. No, we're not going to do that.
It really is a big moment in this game. Alex has done such a good job removing those genies, but where is the card draw coming for Alex without that beast in play?
You can see Alex has to take his time. Like you say, this is an untimed Grand Final.
It is.
Take as long as you need to figure this out. Do some maths. Do a couple of turn-ahead forecasts. Try and figure out exactly what's going on. Alex right now taking the time to consider what is available.
Yeah, and this is a huge skill in trading card games, Ed. Knowing when to just slow down the tempo of a game. And Alex decides, instead of playing whatever card they have in hand, to just simply pass.
Probably a wise choice to keep everything ready, but at this rate, we are going to be able to quest up to 14 just with what's available on the board. Now we see the Elsa exerting that Aurora, and that is going to basically get rid of that immediately with only minimal damage put onto Elsa, the 5th spirit.
And the genie continues to quest. It is going to be 12 lore now for Alessandro, that cricky, lucky cricket in hand. Is that going to be the lucky cricket that Alessandro needs?
That's definitely going to be a possibility, but instead we're going to pass straight back to Alex, who has a Rapunzel gifted with healing. We could use this to our advantage, maybe challenge in with the Pete, get a little bit of damage on, heal it all up with that Rapunzel gifted with healing, and draw off that to get some of that card advantage. That might be what we have to do. Are we going to do it with the Ursula?
It's going to be Pete singing
Oh!
wounding
Wow.
strength of a raging fire,
Nice.
lining up the Rapunzel. Ursula Vanessa is going to be drawing 3 cards thanks to that Rapunzel. Really nice play from Alex, drawing a bunch, and that's where the card draw is going to come from, Ed. We needed to see some,
And
and
here we
Alex
go.
has managed it.
With the 81.9% average that you talked about in this deck. Let's see exactly what we see. We do see a Namari. Oh, I can't see the rest of them. Do we get Strength of Raging Fire? Yes, we did. So the rest of those going straight to the bottom of the deck. That Strength is going to be kept in hand. Are we going to sing that to get rid of Genie or Elsa, perhaps? We've got to get rid of one of them at the very least. We are going to use it on that Genie. That's going to quest for 2 each time, so that's a bit of a pain to have on there as an evasive. That Elsa with evasive is still a bit of a threat, but it's now no longer doing the exerting ability. Crystallize, so let's just see what happens from here on out.
Yeah, a huge turn. Here comes Cricky. This is exactly the kind of card you want against Amber Steel, because suddenly your board of low strength characters get a 3 strength boost. Aurora, Pete and Ursula Vanessa are exerted and can be challenged into.
This is very good for Alessandro at this point. Are we going to try and just clear that board? We're going to move that Cricky around. Let's just remove what's dry and what's wet in these inks, and then let's see where to go from here. We are going to in fact swing in and get the draw off that Diablo right there, making sure that Obedient Raven is having the Fly My Pet ability activated when the character is banished, drawing a card. A good way of swinging into that and getting rid of it.
Yeah, and don't forget that Ursula still with that strength boost thanks to Cricky. In comes an Ursula Deceiver, and it will discard the Akud Troubadour, the last card remaining in hand for Alex.
This is a tough one for Alex right now. At this point, we are going to challenge into the Ursula. All that's left, the Aurora. Oh, the Aurora got challenged as well. Then we've got the Ariel and the Rapunzel gifted with healing just remaining. And then we've drawn into another one. This might be a little bit difficult between Troubadour and that. How much have we got on there? We've basically got 6 lore to quest with right now. So we're not quite game on board, but boy, are we certainly getting there. Let's challenge into that Ursula with the Ariel. Get rid of it immediately, then heal that with the Rapunzel. Let's get a draw off, and we see another Pete Games referee coming into the hand. Are we going to play that? We don't have the ink, actually, so we can't yet. We are instead going to play that Troubadour, which is going to help with a little bit with resist, but also going to help with singing.
Yeah, it's going to be a quest for Alex with Rapunzel. 2 lore now on the board, actually up to 3. Alessandro, 8 lore away from victory in game number 1 of this best of 5. And this is where the Amethyst card draw can really start to kick in. Elsa can sing this Friends on the Other Side, and Alessandro can refill the hand. The power of the Lucky Cricket, it's actually just going to be 3 ink for Friends. Look at how powerful the Lucky Cricket was when it came through Cricky, but it also now quest for 3 Under the Sea.
Oh, we see the Under the Sea in the Grand Final, and there we're going to see all of those disappear, and that means we're going to concede that first game, and Alessandro is going to take our first game in the Grand Final, ending it with that Under the Sea, the thing that you never want to see when all of the strength of all of your glimmers are under 2.
Wow.
Amazing.
Unbelievable. Honestly,
brilliant.
What a way to start this grand final. Pace of play, immaculate. We said, what does each player have to do? Well, Amber Steel, you've got to remove all of the evasives with your songs. Alex did that, but there was just one evasive too many, and it was that Cricky, the pivotal card, and that 2 of Under the Sea coming through to seal the deal.
Now, going into game 2, if you were Alex, what do you think about how to adjust the strategy going into that deck?
Yeah, well, it's slightly different, right? Because now the roles are going to be reversed. Alex will be on the play, and therefore you've got a little bit more leeway. So I think what you might, if you're Alex, try and do is get Cinderella down on turn 1 and sing that Akud Etamuti. Get off to a pretty explosive start. That's something to look out for. The other thing you want to do if you're Alex is not have any song cards in hand when it comes to turn 2 because of that Ursula Deceiver. But at the same time, you want to try and remove the Diablo from the board. So a different strategy is actually to just have loads of songs in hand.
And get rid of them quickly before the Ursula appears.
Yeah, or just say, okay, Ursula's always going to get 1, but if you get rid of 1, I've still got another one in hand to deal with your Diablo, right?
That's true.
Imagine you've just got 1 Storm in hand, I discard it with Ursula. If you've got 2 in hand, well, suddenly my Diablo's not safe anymore.
That's true. Maybe we'll see that as we go into our second game. How will this go? Will that change going on the play rather than on the draw make all the difference? Is it just down to the draws and our ability to move around this? Or is there maybe a deck disadvantage? We're about to find out as we get into game 2. Let's see if Alex and Alessandro have what it takes to battle this out to a 5-game grand final. But I'm very excited. This has been already off to a flying start, even getting to end it with the Under the Sea. Alex just unfortunately losing quite a lot of the draw power, almost ending up entirely with no cards in hand at a couple of points, and then only relying on top decking exactly what is needed. And sadly, not quite seeing it. The Ursulas or the Brunos sniping them. Unfortunately, it's just really hard to play around those things.
Yep, that is it. And I think both players had really good openings, and I was really impressed. I absolutely loved the pace of play, thrilling to watch, and I'm really excited for some more here. Alex, again, this altar, so important, Ed. So let's really try and focus in here and see the decisions from each player. Alex on the play going first, Alessandro going second. Do you even want to shift Diablo going second against Amber Steel? Maybe you do, but there's an argument that you don't.
There's loads of great one-offs in here, and even Let the Storm Rage On. This is quite a good starting hand. How much are we actually going to see the altar come in here? Because we do see the Ursula Vanessa, we see the Aurora holding court, we even see the Cinderella Ballroom.
Yeah, and on the other side, Alessandro has that Diablo shift line already available, has the Snow Fort as well. If you want to go for that route, Under the Sea in hand, I can't imagine will be kept, although it's the only action right now. But Alessandro, no sign of Ursula Deceiver.
And now we did just see that Madam Fox jumping in as well. There's only 2 of those in Alessandro's deck, so that's a good one to have as we start ramping and getting into the turn 4. This could be a very interesting start. That was quite a solid hand from Alex in that opening.
Yep, here we go. Game number 2. Both players playing at the very highest level, looking to crown themselves the first ever Infinity constructed Disney Lorcana Challenge champion.
Just a note on the absolutely thorough shuffling being done here by Alessandro. So let's get into our second game here in the grand final of the Disney Lorcana Challenge in Dortmund. Only one of these players will be crowned champion. Only one will make their way to the world champion off the back of this. Let's see what happens with that Cricky, that Madam Fox, that Snowfort, quite a lot of things. But let's go over to Alex. We are going to see immediately an ink. We're just figuring these out, putting the decks in the right place for the stream. Now,
2 Cinderellas in hand, right?
2 Cinderellas in hand. So do we even ink both of those?
Looks like Bare Necessities might be the ink from Alex. That is a good way of getting rid of that Snow Fort. But Alex, you know, if you go for the Bare Necessities, you don't know if you're going to hit until it's too late.
There's an Ursula Deceiver in Alessandro's hands.
Okay.
We know we've got that ability. That Diablo's come down, although we didn't ink. We've done that the wrong way around. That's always confusing. That happened at the beginning of game 1 as well. Okay, so we do see the Obedient Raven coming down, the Diablo Maleficent Spy being inked, so we know exactly what's going to happen. Let's just get rid of it. I don't mind if you draw. Let's get it immediately.
And Ed, the choice there is absolutely masterful from Alessandro. Like, information's great, but at the end of the day, the card in hand is worth even more. So going for that Diablo, it's a great card for this exact reason. If it gets hit by Storm, you just draw and you replace it and really use... Alex has to use that removal on something they'd rather not.
We're going to see Diablo, Spiteful Raven, getting inked so that we can play that Ursula Deceiver. And this is exactly what you said in between rounds. Doesn't matter if you've got 2 of them and that Ursula comes down, because one can just go. And now we're going to be able to keep that Strength of a Raging Fire, inking that Pete. And then we're going to play that Ariel. Time to look for some songs. What are we going to find?
Will we find anything at all? It's going to be
a
Cood. I think Bare Necessities was also an option. Alex could sing that now. Of course, could also take a bit of a risky quest, but Crab and Fox could be on the other side for Alessandro.
So at this point, we're just going to pass it back over to Alessandro, and we do see quite a lot of options in hand. We know that there's the Diablo Devoted Herald in hand right at the back there. We also see the Elsa. We also see the Madam Mim Fox. We see friends on the other side. Alessandro not very happy with the lines available to him, even with that Diablo Obedient Raven possibly being able to just come down early on. Do we go for the draw? If you're not happy with the cards, do we use the friends on the other side to draw two? That Elsa is also going to hang there and wait until we need to get rid of something. That's a good one to have. That Cricky, not hugely useful at this point in the game, but as we start to get into mid-game, might start to come in handy. But right now, Alessandro's not sure what to do.
Ed, Alex has just been staring at Alessandro, trying to get every bit of information based off their facial expressions and their body language. It will be the snow fort, and it's a much slower start here for Alessandro. Alex being able to remove that Diablo on their second turn. It is that play draw difference for Alex right now.
Now, we're currently seeing in hand, we do have the Beyond the Horizon, so they might discard their hand. That will just take away some of the card advantage of Alessandro, also maybe depriving him of one of those of the Diablo Devoted Heralds. We are going to sing Akud et Emuti first, draw a card. I think that was one of the aerials. It was the aerial ethereal voice, and we're going to take that. Is that what we're going to do? Going to use two to play that. We can use that last ink to boost, meaning now whenever we get to play a song, which we're going to maybe do with one of the two that we've got in hand, and then be able to draw off that as well. Remember, under Snow Fort, everything's got resist 1.
Yeah, aerial ethereal voice is really difficult for Alessandro to deal with. They are still 2 turns away from Elsa the Fifth Spirit, and therefore this aerial is a pretty big threat. It's a big decision for Alex. That Beyond the Horizon is in hand, and it's going to be absolutely devastating for Alex if Alessandro has an Ursula Deceiver in hand and is able to discard that card. So it's a big decision point here for Alex. With Beyond the Horizon, you've got to think, am I hurting my opponent or am I actually helping them? Alessandro's not been very happy about their hand, and maybe therefore Alex just decides not to go for it at all. Big moment in this game.
There is always the thought that maybe, there it is, we're going to see that Strength of a Raging Fire instead. We're not going to do that because of what you just said. For all we know, that's going to be helping. We want to maybe just keep that card advantage there and just let him draw into more and more things. So we do see another Diablo Spiteful Raven.
Yeah, and Alex not questing with the Cinderella. Extreme respect here for the Madam Mim Fox, a 1-cost character alongside the Madam Mim Fox, which Alessandro has exactly in hand, would be able to remove that Cindy from the board. So huge, huge decision making from Alex. But it will be Ursula Vanessa taken out instead. So then you have to ask, was it really worth it for Alex not to quest with the Cindy? Very interesting moment there.
Very interesting moment, but I guess you've just got to play with the information in front of you, and maybe that was just playing it safe. And at this point, we can see what happens if Alessandro runs away with it, and possibly that was the right thing to do. We're going to see another aerial. Let's look at the top 4 cards of the deck. Which song do we find, if any? Oh, we do find the bare necessities, and along came Zeus. Which one are we going to keep?
Yep, so far Alex's 81.9% success rate on aerial is treating them well. But look, that's about 1 in 5 times you're going to miss. And that's, I think, the 3rd aerial we've seen in this game. So it's definitely quite possible that this aerial spectacular singer is going to be missing at some point in this best of 5.
Looks like we're keeping the bare necessities. The rest go to the bottom of the deck. And now we see what the next play is, admittedly with only 1 ink here. Do we sing? Do we use our singers? We're going to ink the bare necessities, and then we're going to use aerial ethereal voice to sing, and then along came Zeus, getting rid of that Madam Mim Fox. Then we're finally going to use that Beyond the Horizon, discarding that entire package that would have got Devoted Herald. And let's see what Alessandro gets off the 3. Was this a wise move, considering we knew he was pretty unhappy?
Yep, and just Alessandro checking the card text here of Aerial Whisper, wondering, is it the first time you play a song, or is it whenever you play a song this turn? You can only trigger it once, but we're going to get that cleaned up thanks to our lore guides. It looks like Alex is able to draw from it, despite it being the second song played this turn. Ursula Vanessa now comes through as well. This is a one of Beyond the Horizon, Ed.
It is, so that's a good one to get. So now we see what happens here. Can we see what was in the hand? We got the 2 Diablos, but we also see the So Be It for the item removal. Not that that's going to be that important in this particular matchup. Now we go back to Alex. At this point, it's just a Diablo off. Did we get the Diablo Devoted Herald, though? I don't think I saw it.
No, I don't think so. The Beyond the Horizon has been Alex's MVP, the best one of I've ever seen in Digital Lorcana right now. It is putting in so much work.
Aerial Ethereal Voice yet again being boosted. That's going to go under there with 2 of those on the board. Any songs that get sung are really going to help. There we go. Strength of a Raging Fire getting rid of that evasive Diablo. Spiteful Raven with Challenger +2. A pesky one indeed to have. And then we see that Ursula getting inked to make room for Aurora holding court. Now it's time to quest. We see questing for 3 there. We're going to keep the aerials up so that we don't lose those anytime soon.
Yeah, Alex being really cautious with his questing. We saw it earlier with the Cindy, but I love this now from Alex. Really just pausing to think, am I sure that I don't want to exert my aerials? And the decision is, nope, I'm going to leave them safe and ready.
We're going to see So Be It getting inked here, I think, because in this matchup, that is worthless. So we are going to see that Cricky coming on down. Lucky Cricket.
I love Cricky. What a brilliant card. We saw in the last game, it could have quest for 3, but instead, just being able to contribute towards Singing Under the Sea. Brilliant stat line. Absolutely outstanding card. I absolutely adore the Lucky Cricket.
A nice move to have there with Lucky Cricket, giving an extra bit of challenge to what's already boosted by 1 by Snowfort, being able to take out one of our aerials there. And now we're going to see Beast Tragic Hero coming on down. That's going to facilitate even more card draws. And you know what? Without the Diablo Devoted Herald on the board, I don't care. Just keep giving me cards.
Yep, Alex has a big, wide board, but it's safety first. No be prepared in this one. So Alex is just safe and sound and questing patiently. They know they're in a good position, and they don't feel like it's necessary to take any risks at all.
We're going to get rid of that beast straight back to the hand. Not the end of the world, but it does mean at the beginning of this turn, we're not going to get that draw power off it. Let's see, which one are we picking? Now, which one did we hit?
Yeah, and Alex, rolling for it's always the best bet. It is going to be Rapunzel that's discarded. There was 2 good options, so Alessandro does know that last card in hand for Alex, and it is going to be that Beast Tragic Hero. Cricky, the Lucky Cricket. Look how useful this card is. Being able to sing Bruno, so Dumbo can still come down, and Alessandro starts clawing back a little bit of tempo, but is it going to be enough?
Dumbo, 9th wonder of the universe, a lethal one when there are evasives on the board, gaining lore and drawing a card as long as you've got that 1 ink available to do so. We are going to see that Beast Tragic Hero immediately come back to the board. Why wouldn't you? We didn't see what was in Alex's hand other than that was drawn off the turn there, but we do still have all of these options, just clarifying some of the stats there, and then we're going to maybe start doing some questing. Do we even just try and get rid of that Cricky, because that's going to be a little bit of a pain?
Yeah, it's a 4 strength because of the Snow Fort, and it's got resist 1, so you're going to need 5 strength in a single swoop to deal with that Lucky Cricket. So I'm not sure Alex is going to be able to deal with it, even if they wanted to. I'm really curious. Does Alex now decide it's the moment to quest with those aerial ethereal voices? If you quest with 1, you quest with both. You overload the removal options for Alessandro. Alex thinks he's about to win this game.
Right now, game is on board, but all we know is that Alessandro could simply top deck anything that could really help him out. Under the Sea, not really singable right now, even with the sing together, I don't think. So right now, we can't even do that. We only have 7 on. No. We could sing together. My maths is terrible. We could definitely sing together if we top deck that Under the Sea, and that would clear almost everything. Admittedly, the 2 aerials would stay behind, as would the Beast, but you'd at least get rid of some stuff there.
Yeah, even Under the Sea here for Alessandro wouldn't be able to save the game, so it looks like Alessandro is not able to stop Alex, and Alex levels things up, and it's 1-1 in this best of 5.
1 apiece already. This would be exciting, even if it was a best of 3, but the fact that we still have a couple more games to go to really find out our true champion here in Dortmund is very exciting. So a much better round that time for the Amber Steel. Now, we sort of talked about this the other way.
Yeah.
If you were Alessandro, what would you try and maybe change up this time?
Yeah.
Try to deprive the aerial, ethereal voices a bit more?
I think the big thing we've got to look at, the difference in the 2 games, is the play draw situation.
No
right?
Diablo.
Because you go Cinderella on turn 1. If you play Cinderella and you're going first, you can storm away that Diablo 1 cost. If you're going second, on the other hand, it's going to be a little bit more tricky. You can potentially remove that shifted Diablo, but of course Ursa the Deceiver could come through and discard that Let the Storm Rage On. So it's going to be tricky. I think if you're Alessandro, it's pretty simple. You look for the most explosive opening possible. That's going to be shift Diablo into that turn 2 Ursa the Deceiver. Maybe even a turn 3 Snowfall, because that's going to give your Diablo resist and make it even more difficult to deal with.
I mean, so far it's been pretty exciting, and frankly at this point this could go either way.
Yeah.
There's no clear sweeping going on. It's not really one-sided. We're not 2-0ing at the moment. It's 1 apiece, and we have to see what happens here when each person goes on the draw. Maybe it comes down to a little bit of a coin flip, but also it comes down to what you draw and even what you can alter to make sure you're getting into those lines.
And one thing that we should really pay attention to here, in a best of 5, you've got a lot of opportunities to win when going second. In a Disney Lorcana article, Frank Carsten referred to this as breaking serve, an analogy from tennis, right? Where if you're the player going second, you've got a bit of an uphill battle, but if you can manage to win that one game going second, it totally changes the dynamic of this best of 5.
The tempo and the back and forth suddenly become very, very different, and that is a really, really great example of how that's true. Breaking the Disney Lorcana serve. So we're going to have to see what happens as we get into our 3rd game here. This is going to be very exciting to see which one of these 2 is going to be crowned that champion. Joe, at this point, voice checking. How are you feeling?
Yeah, we're hanging in there.
We're hanging in there. We've still got a couple more games to go. By the end, I'm going to be yelling a champion's name sounding like an old woman. Yeah. Not going to sound good.
I'm already there.
We're starting to get
Baker's probably lost his voice after that.
After that intro, that was crazy. That guy's blown out his voice box. Wait until he's crowning the champion, and then we don't get to hear from him for a week. Right, let's get into our 3rd game here in our Disney Lorcana Challenge Championship Final to see which of these is going to be crowned champion and making their way to the World Championship. We're taking a look at this altar phase right now.
Yeah, and it's a big, big moment in this one. Alessandro, I didn't quite catch it. I was pouring myself a drink. I think it might have been a full 7 from Alessandro, but I could be totally wrong on that. Let's wait to see what Alessandro draws in their hand. Alex on the other side is got a Strength of a Raging Fire in hand. Has a Storm as well.
Aerial Sonic Warrior.
Want that Cinderella. The key card here is Cindy, I think, that ballroom sensation.
Oh, we're just getting rid of that 1 in the altar. That's pretty good.
Let's have a look at Alessandro's hand. I can see a Pull the Lever. I can see a Diablo Obedient Raven. I cannot see the Devoted Herald. Alessandro so far has found that Devoted Herald every single time. I don't have the exact maths on the odds of drawing that Diablo shift line because it's pretty difficult to calculate, but you're looking at about roughly 65%. This is Alessandro's speciality, by the way, inking and playing the other.
Yeah, on the first turn without fail every time.
Every
It's very fascinating behaviour to observe. And now we immediately go back over to Alex, playing that Cinderella Ballroom Sensation, back over to Alessandro, and there it is. We're going to get rid of Let the Storm Rage On. Oh, no. There's plenty of choices.
Wow.
4. That's a really great time for Alex. Sure, you're going to lose one, but that doesn't matter. Are you going to get rid of a Cood at this point? No, you probably want to get rid of one of the Let the storms, maybe even
Yeah.
the strength of a raging fire.
Look at Alex's face, Ed, so smug. He's like, yeah, I do have that many songs.
Yeah, that's right. Pick it. It doesn't matter. Whatever you pick, I don't care. I could just cast another one. That's going to be fine.
Yeah, and this is like such an interesting strategy, right? Often the play is to just try and have no songs at all. But when you have 20 songs in your deck, maybe a better strategy is just accept the Ursula Deceiver is there and just have a fistful of songs instead. Alessandro discards the strength. No great surprise there. Get rid of the inkable song.
Now, having a quick look at what we're drawing into here in steel, I think we've got... Oh, gosh, actually, I couldn't really tell what that one is on the far side at this point.
Yeah, it's 1 law to 0. Alessandro questing with that. Obedient Raven gets the first law. This is the kind of start, though, that Alex is going to be looking for to break serve. Huge game here to really set the tone of this Disney Lorcana Challenge Championship final here in Dortmund.
There was a moment there where they considered singing the Akut Etamuti, maybe to start building that board out, but no, let's prevent them because we don't know what's in Alessandro's hand. Let's stop that Diablo ramp. It's the thing that might help break the serve, as you said, Joe.
Yeah.
So that's probably the smart move, just to make sure we're playing everything carefully and not rushing.
Yeah, there is a downside, though, here. Exerting this Cinderella does open you up to a fox or a crab on turn 3, taking out your Cinderella. But it's going to be Ursula Vanessa, so Alex still has a singer on board regardless.
In fact, it's a slightly better singer. It's a singer 4, which makes life a little bit easier for Alex as well, if we want to sing anything that's a bit more expensive. But you know, that means we can easily get the Along Came Zeus out there if we do indeed top deck that. Alessandro really having to take the time to think through these moves. We do see a pull the lever in there. I think we see an Elsa the 5th Spirit as well, although the cards are moving, I can't tell. But now we also see that there's the friends on the other side that we might need to get some card draw. At this point, there's no point in rushing these when you're in an untimed final, although it has already been 36 minutes, judging by the timer at the top. Pretty impressive, although that also counts the time between rounds as well. But what are we going to do? What is Alessandro thinking? There's another Diablo Spiteful Raven. We also see that we do still have that friends on the other side, the pull the lever.
And look at Alex again, not looking at his hands, looking straight at Alessandro, trying to get every little bit of information they can. It is going to be that pull the lever, and it's going to be Alessandro drawing 2 cards. Compare this, Ed, to the previous match when Alessandro went first. We were seeing like Diablo, Genie. This is a much, much slower start.
This could be, as you eloquently put it in the start, a serve break for this. Time to see those songs with Ariel. What do we find? Let's have a look. We get and then Along Came Zeus, which, of course, Ursula Vanessa can sing immediately if needed.
Yep, so far, that 82% odds of Ariel success is holding strong for Alex. Not gonna quest with Cindy or Ursula, leaving those singers ready and waiting for some evasive characters of Alessandro.
Now we have some drawing opportunities here because we do have friends on the other side. You could even sing that with Ursula if you wanted to get just a couple of extra cards for free there. Let's see what Alessandro decides to do. We also see Maleficent Spy and Obedient Ravens in there as well.
Yeah, and Alessandro's got so much draw in hand. Look, the shake of the head from Alessandro, and Alex saw exactly that. Alex really just looking so composed here. Such a big stage to be on. You got the cameras on you. The trophy is sat next to you. But Alex is just watching and looking at every single little bit of detail they can get from Alessandro, trying to make a read on what cards they have in hand. It is so impressive to have this level of calmness, really, on such a big stage.
Like you say, it is quite tantalizing having that that trophy mere inches from you. So there we are going to actually just straight up hard cast that friends on the other side. And we do see a crab, which is actually what you were talking about a little bit earlier. But what do we go for here? We're going to ink that Maleficent Spy.
Yeah, and Alessandro is going to put the Obedient Raven down on the board. No quest with the Ursula Deceiver, though. back on over to Alex. 3 ink available, but can go up to 4 ink.
Great songs in hand as well. That's looking very healthy. 2, and then along came Zeus. I believe that's an Akud Etamuti and a Let the Storm Rage On. That is what we want to see. Wait, in fact, is that another? There we go. We're going to use that to get rid of the Ravenshaw. We do get a draw off that, but at this point, I think it was an Under the Sea we just drew as well. But that's not going to see any play for a while.
Yeah, I think Alessandro would like that Under the Sea to go back into the deck, if at all possible. For now, only Ursula Deceiver as 2 ink costs. Long way away from that Sing Together 8. Alex, though, taking their time. They've just drawn into that Aerial Sonic Warrior. Shift could be available in the very near future. Of course, that Akud in hand as well. But Alex has been really cautious about exerting their characters too early. As soon as you're seeing Alessandro go to 5 ink, though, if you're Alex, you're probably thinking Elsa 5th Spirit. He asks, how many cards in hand? And the answer from Alessandro is a lot.
Too many. Too many cards in hand, trying to get even more to try and hit the exact lines that we need. Do you know what? Right now, this is still about board domination and setting up future turns, because there is currently no law on the board. There's one, but at this point, we're still very early on in this game 3 right now.
We absolutely are, but Alex has done a great job of sort of, despite being the player going second, getting this early advantage. Now the big question is, Ed, can they really press this advantage? This feels like a pivotal turn to really set up a big, strong board and run away with it.
We can actually shift into that Aerial Sonic Warrior if we sung Akud Etamuti. And that might be something useful to have with playing some songs in the future once we get a bit more ink, but that might not even be what we do. It looks like we might just be trying to sing. Let's see what comes down. Yeah, we're going to sing. And then along came Zeus in that gorgeous art of that card. Very, very nice enchanted. Now we are going to head back over to Alessandro right now. Alex has passed turn, and there it is, finally seeing that the devoted herald that we've been eluded by this entire time. This is a little bit of a tough one for Alessandro. We're going to just get that genie out, get that card drawn. There's another pull the lever. I think we've got both copies of Under the Sea in hand. Are there only 2 copies in this deck? Yes, there are. According to the deck list, both are currently in hand. So if we can get to the point where we can actively sing that, not bad. But right now, that isn't looking very likely.
Yeah, for Alessandro, they are going to be absolutely terrified of Beyond the Horizon. I've said already, it's been Alex's best performing one of you could possibly wish for. Of course, the big downside of only playing 1 copy of such a card is you're likely not to see it in a lot of your games. And right now, Beyond the Horizon would be extremely compelling to just simply whittle down Alessandro's hand to 3.
We do have the capacity at this point to do the same move we saw Alex do before, with singing into yourself to then heal that with the Rapunzel if we just wanted some extra card draw. Instead, we're going to Akud et Imuti, draw a card, and that was, I believe, another Aurora.
I think so.
Yep, we've got the Aurora there, so we can play that if we want. It would obviously be cheaper, maybe utilize it a little bit better, although all we have available is that Rapunzel gifted with healing. We're not going to see that just yet.
Might just be the Sonic Warrior, of course, that Akud reducing the cost. Who needs shift for when you can just pay for ink? Alessandro pretty impressed by that play. Love the sequencing by Alex there as well. Use the Akud first before you do anything else, because it does draw you a card and you get that little bit of extra context and information in what you're working with this turn. There's also the Zeus still in hand for Alex. And look, leaving that ink face up, because that's a new rule, of course.
That obviously does help us tell what was inked this turn as well, and if somebody has or hasn't inked, because obviously you can do these in any order in Disney Lorcana, and it makes it easier for us as casters. We are going to immediately see that sent to the bottom of the deck by that wrong lever. That's a nice way of getting rid of that. Then we are going to... Ooh, hang on. We're taking that back. Are we going to ink friends on the other side? Yeah. I thought we maybe sung it with the...
That was the plan immediately. Alessandro having a change of heart, though. Our lore guides are at the table to make sure everything is all good. It's going to be the Peter Pan Shadow Finder and the Genie challenging in to Ursula Vanessa. I was just wondering if Alex was going to sing that "And Then Along Came Zeus" to remove the Genie in the last turn, but decided not to. Could be an interesting moment to look back on.
It certainly could. I was wondering the same thing. Instead, we're going to see that now. And that's going to remove the Peter Pan Shadow Finder, which is a bit of a difficult one because you do not want evasive characters being given rush at all. And then we're going to see that beast tragic hero come down. That's going to help with some card draw on the next turn if we don't deal with that. And then instead there is a wrong lever, and we're going to go for 2, or pull the lever, and there's 2, and then there's wrong lever, putting that to the bottom of the deck. An expert display of how these cards work in brilliant synergy, Joe.
Yeah, really impressive to see. Alessandro, despite the slow start, has started to claw their way back into this one. Alex's Beast Tragic Hero, an incredibly good card draw engine, has not got a chance against these levers. You think of the cards that these wrong levers are good against. Well, in this format, you've got Shark, you've got Beast, you've got Cinderella Stout-Hearted. But here comes the Diablo to have a little look at the one card in Alex's hand. No card draw. He rubs the top of his deck. He's looking for something a little bit lucky. He's hoping for a beast. He's hoping for an aerial. He wants something good.
Is it an aerial ethereal voice? No. I need to see it. Oh, it's just another aerial, so we are going to get to look for a song. What do we find off the top? We find a Beyond the Horizon.
Big moment in this game, and the players are loving the drama here, interacting with each other in a brilliant way. There's the Beyond the Horizon, and that will be discarded for Alessandro.
That is a tough hit on that Beyond the Horizon. Both of those Diablo shifts have gone, the Devoted Herald and one of only 2 copies of Under the Sea. That is brutal. Let's see what cards have been drawn, though. We actually do even see that Pete Games referee has been drawn by Alex. That'll be a good one to have later down the line. We also see a Bare Necessities as well.
Alessandro slumping back in their chair. It's going to be 3 ink. It's going to be Strength of a Raging Fire.
Brilliant.
But Alex is still 20 lore away from the win.
This has been a back and forth of board dominance. We're going to see that Genie wish fulfilled. That is, yep, for the draw.
3 ink still to play with for Alessandro.
Snowfort. Oh, no, never mind. We are, in fact, going to give rush to both of these as well. That's going to make life a lot easier to start clearing the board with that Peter Pan Shadow Finder. That's good. Starting to claw back that board dominance, remove some of those singers, take away some of the chances to use what we know is already in hand.
Yeah, and we go back to Alex's decision not to Zeus the Genie, and it's a really, really high-level decision. And it shows how valuable this Peter Pan Shadow Finder is, that Alex actually delayed that Zeus onto the Genie and specifically then used the Zeus on the Peter Pan instead of the Genie. Really showing you how valuable the Peter Pan Shadow Finder is in this matchup.
It makes a huge difference. Now, we do see quite a lot of Alex's board being dealt with. This is a little bit precarious for Alex because with only now 2 cards in hand, we need to see what he's actually got there so we can see what the future plays might be. Well, one of them is Pete Games referee. No more actions. We're going to instead pass straight back over. Dumbo, Ninth Wonder of the World. A fist pump there from Alessandro. That's a good one. Let's use both of these with that Dumbo ability. Gain a lore, gain a card. That's a really, really great top deck there.
Yeah, it absolutely is. In Alessandro's game earlier against Emerald Steel, I saw this Dumbo draw so many cards. I think it's the first time we're really seeing it in this grand final.
Aurora is the only card in hand for Alex currently. They're having a little bit of an exchange about this. That Ursula Deceiver is getting inked. Let's go for the draw here.
Yeah, and we think about that Beyond the Horizon, Ed. Imagine if it had come through just a turn sooner.
Here we go. We get rid of that Dumbo with an along came Zeus. That's very good. But we still have the issue of the Genie and the Peter Pan currently on the board. Luckily, they can't challenge anything right now. But look what we see in hand, Joe. We can immediately shift that Diablo. Do you know we don't even need to shift it if we don't want to? Let's get a Snowfort out. Let's get an Elsa the Fifth Spirit out. Let's challenge that immediately. That's what we need. Let's clear the board of any of those ones that can really sing some of the more powerful things. And you know what? We'll save that Diablo for later.
Alessandro really starting to take over in this game. It was all about that wrong lever combo, bottom decking the beast. It's going to be bare necessities and no joy there. And it's going to be a scoop from Alex, and it is Alessandro who just about holds on and is now one game away, Ed, from the championship.
This is what we like to see, that both of our competitors having a good time, smiling at each other, joking about the hands they had. It's not overly serious. There's not frowning going on. They're not having a bad time. Doesn't matter that only one of them can get through. That is incredibly exciting. And do you know what else is exciting? That I might win the fantasy draft because of Alex winning, if he does indeed. It is how it works. Let's take a look at that fantasy draft and see how I could possibly win. Oh, Baker has... do you know what? Never mind. No, if I get the 500 bonus points, I win. I just win. In fact, you two are tied.
Yeah, Baker and I are tied there. Really, really fun little thing to be doing with the fantasy draft, but really, really awesome to see that you've still got a player in the mixer there.
Very, very cool indeed. Not only a player in the mix, a player in the Grand Final, which already is worth 200 points, so I win. And then if I... last out this entire thing and Alex takes home the win, then I definitely win. And I'm the best.
You know what? It works for me.
Yep, okay.
Makes the rules, but sure.
After we crown the champion, I want to be given a medal. I need there to be some kind of parade. Maybe I need to be written about in some blogs. I don't know.
I mean, the main talking point here, if anything, it's not about the tied wins. It's about the last place player. Team Ross. Yet again, coming in last in the fantasy draft. Poor old Ross, the man with the spreadsheet that he brings to these fantasy drafts.
Do you know what? Ross actually even had a spreadsheet of highly qualified, well-placing players. He's currently frowning at us from the other side of the camera. And sadly, none of it paid off. Whereas I picked mine purely off of what I refer to as quote-unquote vibes, and also players that were quite well renowned. And ones who have taken part in the CCQs that I've had the pleasure of casting lately. And do you know what? My vibes have led me very well over this weekend. And do you know what? It's so nice to be back here in the chair with people like yourself, Joe, with Ross, with Baker, getting to share it again on the bigger stage with Kim, and also my first time getting to work alongside Rebecca as well. Baker and Rebecca doing an absolutely sensational job as the hosts this season, and almost certainly in the seasons going forward. They really do help elevate these Disney Lorcana challenges, and we hope all of you watching at home on Twitch enjoy the show that we try to put on. Wait a minute, he's behind you. What a lovely little pantomime we have there, just as I was being, nice about him. I'm going to take it all back, actually. He loses my support and love for being smug. That's the third time this weekend.
Just to let you guys know, there is a toilet break for one of the players. That's why there is a little bit of a delay. I do wonder if our wonderful production team could just put up some of the deck lists for our viewers at home while we are waiting for this next match to begin. Of course, it is open deck lists at this stage in the tournament, and open deck list, Ed, is a really important skill. Here we can see the Emerald and Amethyst deck from Alessandro, 2 lucky crickets. I think we've basically seen every single card in their deck so far.
We have. We even did see a So Be It getting inked at one point. Actually quite a good use of that, because in this matchup it is utterly worthless. We don't have a single item, I don't believe.
No items.
No items, so it's worthless. So that's always good. We even saw the Madam Mim Fox, and there's only 2 of those. And we did get to see the Snowfall, the Under the Seas. Do you know what? Maybe it's the Under the Sea. That's why the player needs a toilet break. Just thinking about all that water, all that ocean, while you're in this pressureful situation, I'd probably feel the same. Let's take a look at Alex's deck now. And here we go. We've seen all of this, and there's a pretty simple thing. Do you know what? We even got to see the aerial Sonic Warrior, and a lot of the players this weekend have actually had that in the deck, just as a one-off, sometimes even a two-off, quite rarely in the builds, and we never once saw it played. Always got inked. But today, we got to see it.
Yeah, and I think what's really fascinating about the Emerald Amethyst list is a lot of the time in these decks, you're going to have a split of 4 to 3 levers. You play 4 copies of Pull the Lever, 3 copies of Wrong Lever. Well, that is not the case in this Emerald Amethyst deck. It's just got all 4 copies of each.
Now, Joe, obviously we have a lot of Disney Lorcana players who have been taking part in their locals, taking part in the CCQs, might even have been attending DLCs. But one of the beauties of this trading card game is that there's a lot of newer players. And to explain to some of the newer, more casual players who maybe haven't seen this interaction, can you explain why pull the lever and wrong lever interact with each other so well?
Yeah, sure. So one of them is a dual link. It's pull the lever. Wrong lever doesn't. It's not a dual link. It's just in Emerald. But you only ever see it in Emerald Amethyst because of the pull the lever being a dual link. And pull the lever, you can do two things. You can either discard a card from your opponent, or you can draw two cards. And then wrong lever, you can add a card back to your opponent's hand, or if you have a copy of pull the lever already in the discard, you can put that pull the lever on the bottom of your deck, and instead of putting that card in your opponent's hand, you put it to the bottom of their deck.
Amazing
really
synergy.
Removal.
Really powerful. And maybe we'll get to see that as we go into the next game, our fourth game. Bear in mind, this is match point for Alessandro right now, if he can claim the win on this. But remember, Alessandro is on the draw, and it's going to be Alex who is actually going to be kicking things off. This could be very, very lucrative. But look at both of our wonderful grand finalists having a nice time. And there's a brilliant handshake and even a wink from Alex. This is what we like to see. This is what the Disney Lorcana trading card game community is all about. Having a good time, getting to celebrate each other, celebrating Disney, and playing some cracking games here live on Twitch.
Yeah, it's so much fun to see the passion from each of our Illumineers. Now, Alessandro didn't find that Shift Diablo in the previous game. I see the Devoted Herald, but I do not see... Sorry, I don't see the Devoted Herald.
I saw Maleficent Spy, though.
So can we see that Devoted Herald after that 5-card altar? Alex is going to want Cinderella. They're going to want Storm Rage On most likely, unless you go for that route where you just try and have no songs at all and don't give Ursa the Deceiver a sniff.
Let's see what's happening. So we're actually putting 3 of those songs back, quite interestingly.
Look at that shuffle.
Look at that shuffle. It is expertly done, and it really highlights just how inept I truly am when it comes to this particular skill. I'm sure there's people at home watching who are good at this, but for me, that is just a skill I've never mastered.
Alessandro and Alex, this could be it. This could be the last game we see at this Disney Lorcana Challenge here in Dortmund. Alessandro just needs 1 game. Alex needs 2. And if Alex wins, we will go to that game 5. But Alessandro might want to call it an early night with a win here.
He might indeed. And do you know what? If that's the case, then congrats to Alessandro if he makes it take the win. But I would be quite happy seeing this go to that game 5 so that the tension really ramps up. So here we're going to kick things off with the Aurora. And once again, the wrong way round. That has happened quite literally every game we've had. And we're 4 games in.
It's Alessandro's signature technique, I guess.
Maybe you're right. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe there's a superstition behind it.
Yeah, perhaps.
It's a reversal of fortune.
Yeah. It's Aurora on turn 1 for Alex, so no Cinderella. No Cinderella to sing that Storm on Diablo. That's what we saw the previous time Alex went first. It is going to be Aurora into the Inkwell, and possibly a Troubadour here on turn number 2.
Troubadour would probably be the choice here because you then have at least something that can sing.
The other thing you could do, you could quest with Aurora, go for the aerial. The problem with that line is that a shifted Diablo could challenge into that Aurora, removing it from the board while sticking around.
We have stuck with the Troubadour musical narrator, though, with Resist 1 and the Singer 4. Still a useful one to have when you're trying to get some of those songs out. But are we going to see that Devoted Herald? It's not even in hand, is it? Nope. So we need to see what comes off the draw here for Alessandro.
Yeah, and that's the thing with these Diablo decks. It's about, again, ballpark, not an exact calculation, but roughly 65% of the time, if you fully alter your hand looking for it, is when you're going to be fighting this Diablo shift. So you have to find a plan B. Shifting Diablo is your plan A, but this deck is never going to be a serious deck unless you have a plan B. And I think it's fair to say, with Alessandro getting all this way, he's going to have a plan B.
Well, we do see in the hand that Maleficent Spy. Do you want to do that and see what's in hand, knowing that there might be some songs and an aerial? But also, you probably know that those are likely there when you're at this level of play. When you're 4 games deep, you know what you're looking for in the altar. We probably know there's at least a couple of songs that are going to be on that spot removal. We know there's probably going to be an aerial to dig for even more songs. Probably not expect... do you know what? We're going to go for it anyway. There's the Beast. There's the Nani... Oh, sorry, not Nani. Who do I mean? Namari, even, pardon. Then also Ariel and the Let the Storm Rage On. So we are going to ink one Elsa, the 5th Spirit, and pass. And there's an Ariel ethereal voice to the hand. What do we do here? Do we need to keep the Namari for some of the strength that it will acquire, or do we just ink it at this stage?
I'm finding the back and forth between these two players fascinating, not just on the board, but the little interactions between them, the reactions, the way that Alex is watching Alessandro's every micro reaction to try and gain any bit of information. It is absolutely fascinating to see. Aurora will quest. Here comes that aerial. 82% on average success rate. Will it be another hit? It looks like it will. 2 options, Strength of a Raging Fire, and then along came Zeus.
A good couple of options in there. We are going to keep the Strength of a Raging Fire for now. But are we going to use it? So this is actually a bit of an interesting moment right here, because we do have 2 songs. Which one are we going to sing? We're going to sing Let the Storm Rage On, possibly just to get rid of that Diablo, so we don't get the draw off Maleficent Spy. That's pretty useful, and then we get another chance to draw a card. And I think we even got another song off that draw, but it's hard to see off these right now. We're going to see what happens from here as we possibly get to cast one of those, or put it just to the back of the hand, cast it aside, and wait until next turn.
Yeah, and Alessandro not paying too much attention to Alex's body language, but just really focusing on their own game plan and what's happening on the board. Great to see the 2 different playstyles. Elsa 5th Spirit is going to be inked. It's going to be that Peter Pan Shadow Finder taking out Aurora.
That Peter Pan Shadow Finder over the last 4 games has put in a lot of work in almost every single round. It's just a devastatingly good card to get out there and immediately challenge, but really great that it gives all the... Oh, we see the Troubadour sing the Let the Storm Rage On, getting rid of that Peter Pan Shadow Finder, and then we immediately start getting into some drawing power, and we do still see that Namari is in hand. It looks like we might be considering inking that right now. Yes, we are. We see the Akuda Muti in hand as well, but we're going to go for that aerial ethereal voice. However, nothing available to boost that whisper right now. We need 1 ink to do so, and we don't have any available, but we'll probably see that on the next turn.
Alex's previous turn, they quested with Aurora to get the aerial down before inking. They didn't need to do that, but this way they almost set a trap, right? They exert their Aurora, meaning that Alessandro challenges into it with Peter Pan, and suddenly Alex, who previously Zeused that Peter Pan instead of a genie, can just remove it with Let the Storm Rage On. It's going to be pull the lever from Alessandro, drawing 2 cards, Diablo into the inkwell, 1 ink left unused.
We've never seen that Diablo Spiteful Raven actually played in this game. We've only seen it get inked. That is the boost for our Whisper there, the aerial ethereal voice. Now, whenever we play that song, we're going to draw a card, and there's a song there sung by the Troubadour. Going to get that extra draw and draw of a Akuda Muti. We did even draw into a Strength of a Raging Fire there. Pretty useful. Let's immediately play ourselves a Beast for 2 fewer ink. That's a great way of getting Beast Tragic Hero out. That's going to help with some draw, unless Alessandro can get some damage on it.
Yeah, or wrong lever, put it to the bottom of the deck. Here comes Ursa the Deceiver. It's going to hit. There's 3 songs available, and Alessandro is not happy to see that.
Nope, if you're not playing the 7 Dwarves, you're certainly not going to be happy.
And look at Alex again. He's just looking over.
Look at the intensity there.
Reaction.
What are you going to pick? Why will you pick it? What are you thinking? Because now you've got to sort of try and get into the head of your opponent.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to try and think, why would you pick that one? What have you got? What are you trying to prevent me from removing? We're going to get rid of that Let the Storm Rage On. That's fine, because that one makes a lot of sense. That's going to deprive a card draw. The others, while you're still going to be able to get 4 damage off whenever you actually sing that, but you're not going to get a card draw off it, Joe.
No, and I think like in the early game, usually it's the inkable card that you would prioritize. But at this stage, I think let the Storm Rage on make sense. Look at that, it's wrong lever, but it's not going to be on the Beast. It's going to be on the Aerial Ethereal. And Alex with a little smile to himself, like, that's how good my Aerial is, that you're going to prefer to remove that instead of my Beast Tragic Hero.
And that Beast Tragic Hero has facilitated an extra draw at the start of the turn. And we actually see another one in hand where we're going to see that Aerial go down. And that Beast Tragic Hero is going to hit the board a second time. That means we're actually going to get even more card draw at the start of the next turn. Right now, we're going to sing Strength of a Raging Fire, I think. Oh, no. Have we had to decide to quest with it?
Yeah, looks like it might be a
looking for a
quest.
quest. Time to get some lore on the board for Alex and start widening that gap against Alessandro. Back to him.
Yeah, kind of inviting the Fox play here from Alessandro, because a Fox could take out the Troubadour. A Crab, though, as well on Ursula Deceiver could also... It's an interesting quest from Alex. Basically what Alex is saying is, I don't actually care if you go for the Fox line, because I don't think it's really the best play you could be making this turn.
You don't think using the Fox to bounce the Ursula back would be useful?
It does sound pretty good, which is why I'm a bit...
that and snipe it out of the hand.
Yeah, and I'm a bit surprised, really, by the quest from the Troubadour, but the only reason I can think of it for Alex is saying, well, I invite you to make this play, but is it possible they could have overlooked bouncing the Ursula for that replayability? It's going to be Elsa instead. So look at that, Alex, with a huge one extra lore gained from this Troubadour quest, really predicting that Alessandro would not be able to go for the Fox and would prefer to go for an Elsa and answer this Beast. Basically, if Alessandro goes for the Fox, they can't answer the Beast as well.
That's true. And it's a good way of getting just a little bit of that damage on there to stop that extra bit of card draw. You want to try and deprive Alex of some of the resources that he's going to start being able to gather through getting all that card draw, because right now Alessandro does admittedly have friends on the other side to get a couple of extra cards, but he's really having to think about all of this very carefully.
Ed, honestly, it might seem ridiculous, but this single quest from Troubadour is my favourite play I've seen all weekend. It only gets one extra lore, but there's just so much behind that one little quest.
Mind games.
It's just brilliant from Alex. It's absolutely brilliant.
You've heard it here first. Joe Curly Cards really enjoys that particular play. Note that one down. Here we go. We're going to get that extra draw. Oh, another Strength of a Raging Fire. And then there's the actual draw for turn. We're going to ready up some of these. Oh, look, we do see the Beyond the Horizon in the hand as well. That's going to be good if we do start to see some of the draw from Alessandro, because we did actually see a moment that happened earlier while we were casting. Alessandro did drop friends on the other side, and so Alex saw that that was there. So there goes that Elsa by singing Strength of a Raging Fire from the Troubadour. A great use of that card right now. Oh, there's the thought about using that Akud Etamuti with that Aerial right now, or maybe even just hard casting it. Let's see, we're going to hard cast that Akud Etamuti, get a draw off, and then we get into another Aerial there, and we're going to play that for even cheaper. Brilliant. Let's look at the top four cards, find ourselves a song. What have we got?
Is it time for that miss?
I think we did finally miss. Do you know what, Alex? You've had plenty. That would be greedy.
Yeah, 82% success rate. 18% miss rate. It's gonna happen over the course of a best of 5.
Okay, we see that Lucky Cricket has come on down into the hand. Always a good one. Looks like we might be hard casting friends on the other side. That's right. And we're going to draw 2 cards. One Madam M Fox and one Diablo Obedient Servant.
Just a moment here for Alessandro to quest. I do believe getting their first lore. It is going to be that Madam M Fox, and it will be taking out the Troubadour, which Alex continued to quest with. And again, let's give credit to Alessandro for not falling for the trap Alex set the previous turn. That Troubadour was so tempting to challenge, especially with that Ursula Deceiver being bounced back, but instead they recognized the need to damage that beast and slow down the card draw engine of Alex.
Oh, wow, we're seeing another Aerial Ethereal voice come in. We're going to immediately boost that. So now whenever songs are sung, we do actually get some draw off that. That's going to be really useful. And are we seeing a song getting sung? Yes, we are. Goodbye, Madam M Fox. Hello, extra card draw off Aerial.
Yeah, and Alessandro with a little sigh there as their Fox is removed from the board. The Amber Steel songs are clearing the board left, right, and center.
This is also the moment where we have to start wondering, do I quest with these to just get some of that lore on the board? We are going to quest with Aerial for 1. Then we're going to quest with the Beast for 2. And we're going to keep 1 there ready so it doesn't have any damage on it. That way we can keep getting those card draws every single turn. We are going to see 5 ink get exerted. Does that mean we're seeing Cricky Lucky Cricket? Yes, it does. Now we're going to get rid of that beast by swinging in with Diablo Obedient Raven, immediately getting boosted by the Cricky, +3 strength for the challenge. That was a good way of getting rid of one of those double point questers there.
Yeah, Alex with 3 cards in hand, of course, is going to be drawing off the beast at the start of the turn, therefore going to be getting up to 5. That Aerial Ethereal on the board can continue to draw Alex cards. This has been the difference. If you can just get that foothold in the early game for Alex, get that tempo, get the card draw flowing, it's a totally different game.
It is, and at this point, Alessandro has to start considering what's going to happen at this point with the ink and the mana. Let's look at the hand with that Ursula Deceiver. We have 2 choices. Probably get rid of the Beyond the Horizon there. Wide eyes from Alessandro there. Wondering which one to pick.
Both are pretty scary.
Both are pretty scary. Also, did I just glimpse the Devoted Herald at the back of the hand of Alessandro? Yes, I did. So that means we have no shift target for that at this point. We are going to see Strength of a Raging Fire disappear because that's the only card that can currently get rid of that Cricky Lucky Cricket.
Yeah.
That would have been actually a pretty good move there, but we do get to see 2 cards drawn. And now there's a games referee in hand and also that Namari. So we have a couple of options here.
Alex at 5 lore, Alessandro at 1. I do really like the decision there from Alessandro. Get rid of the strength, keep your Cricky safe and sound, and make things a little bit awkward for Alex. That Beyond the Horizon isn't getting the best value right now. Alex would much rather the strength in this position.
We are going to see that shifting Aerial there. Very, very nice. Seeing Aerial Sonic Warrior coming in. So now whenever we play a song, we can pay 2 ink to deal 3 damage. A nice way of starting to get rid of even ready characters on the other side of the board, because as we've noted, I don't believe any of these characters actually have ward or anything, so that's a nice way of getting rid of those.
It's going to be Beyond the Horizon being sung. Now, Alex is asking Alessandro how many cards. It's obvious that Alex will be drawing 3.
Brilliant.
The decision is, will they discard Alessandro's? They say, yes, yes, I will.
So let's have a look at what Alessandro has finally got in hand off the back of that. Oh, there's another Diablo. Oh, there's a Genie.
Yeah, and of course for Alex, they also get that benefit of drawing that additional card from the Aerial. Pete, no actions. Alex reminds Alessandro it's going to be that Genie coming through. No actions can be played this turn, though, for Alessandro. Alex's board is getting big and wide.
It certainly is. We see a So Be It in hand. We see another Diablo. Currently, this is still looking very strong for Alex. Alessandro not quite being able to do any questing, not wanting to risk getting rid of that Cricky, because Cricky is a great card if you just want to be able to quest your way to the top. But right now, even if we manage to get in to a Under the Sea, it actually would do very little against this board.
Yeah, Alex's board right now questing for 8. So 2-turn clock, really. If nothing is removed, Alex will win within a couple of turns. 8 willpower on Aerial.
Oh.
I think is what Alessandro is remarking about right now.
8 willpower is tough, but we are going to see that Peter Pan Shadow Finder giving all characters with evasive rush, which actually means even that Genie could challenge right now if we wanted to, along with that Peter Pan. Let's get rid of the Aerial right there. That's just going to stop us having 1 extra singer, but frankly, at this point, not a huge dip on that board, but we do currently have equal amounts of glimmers on the board on both sides. Quite a lot of questing able to be done here. We can quest for 7 currently on Alex's turn. That will get us up to 12. That's a pretty threatening board state for Alessandro. And what is Alex going to do here? We're going to draw off that beast. That's the first thing we're going to do. And then we're going to draw for turn.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a mandatory trigger. You cannot miss that one according to the rules. And why would you, frankly, when it lets you draw a card? It's going to be Aerial Spectacular Singer. And look at Alessandro, that big sigh. Doesn't want to be seeing that right now.
Oh, and we see and then along came Zeus. A great way of getting rid of one of those two evasives right now. Just immediately dispatching that. Plus, remember, if we keep that extra couple of ink there, we can actually get rid of both of those glimmers right this second, because that Sonic Warrior Aerial is actually going to be able to move some damage around. So really good use of the ink there. We could easily sing that with something else and then get rid of those difficult evasives that both technically at this point have rush.
Yep, it's going to be Aerial singing by the looks of it. Will it be that? And then along came Zeus, goes for the cricky, denying the potential for Alessandro to sing. We don't talk about Bruno. Again, prefers removing the Peter Pan instead of the Genie. Look, the Genie is a great card, but it quests for 2. And right now, Alessandro does not need questing power. They need strength on board.
Now we're going to see those two one-cost princesses come in. The princesses have come to town, and we have Aurora holding court and Cinderella, ballroom sensation, hitting that board. And also, I think I'm right in saying that we actually see Cinderella stout-hearted in hand as well. So that could even be a shift target very, very shortly. Very exciting at this point from Alex. But is Alessandro going to keep on moving through this? Did he draw?
In comes another Genie. Genie, and Ursula on the board for Alessandro. 19 lore away. Alex, patient as ever. Still only at 6 lore. But that could change very quickly indeed.
We do have that So Be It, which obviously does have the effect of banishing chosen item, but it does give +1 strength to everything, so it's not the worst thing in the world to see if we really need to. But also remember that we still haven't seen any snow forts yet, which would really bolster this side of the board for Alessandro, because there are quite a lot of glimmers on Alex's side, and it's going to be hard to deal with. So we're going to use Diablo Maleficent Spy, see what's in the hand. We do see that there's the nice card arts of the Rapunzel gifted with healing. We are going to scoop. That means we are going to a game 5 here in the Grand Final of the Disney Lorcana Challenge in Dortmund. This has just gotten even more exciting than it's been for the last 4 games, Joe. I can't wait to see how this goes.
It all comes down to this. One player will qualify for the World Champs.
Only one. Only one can walk away with that trophy and with the chance at glory to be the best in the world this season for Disney Lorcana. This is what it all comes down to. Right now, our players, you know, are trying to just center themselves, trying to focus, because the nerves must be hitting the roof right now. And Alex, having just taken that win, that means Alessandro is going to be going first.
Yeah, that's right. And this is going to be the 3rd time Alessandro's gone first in this game. Alessandro won that die roll, each player coming from a different bracket. So not being able to use seeding to determine who goes first in this grand final. So you've got to feel for Alex. Alex has got the slight disadvantage overall in this final. This deciding game, Alessandro is going first. But Alex knows what they need to do to try and win this game. They've got to try and do exactly what they did in game 1. Just remove all those evasives and just hope that the card draws aren't quite as good for Alessandro.
Are we going to see Diablo, Devoted Herald, actually stick to the board this time?
Unlikely.
Start getting those draws? I don't think so either. At the moment, they've been sniped by the Let the Storm Rage on every single time. But you've said this already, that when you're not the person playing one of the one-cost princesses first, you lose that ability to immediately hit it.
Yeah, you absolutely do. You can hit it on your 2nd turn, of course, but that's not quite as impressive as your opponent's going to draw from the Diablo Devoted Herald. I think a big thing to look out for as well is, can you get that Ursula Deceiver on turn 2 if you're Alessandro into Snowfort on 3 and start making things really awkward. Maybe the Snowfort on 3 isn't going to be a great line for Alessandro in this one, right? Because Ursula Vanessa could come down and then a Zeus could come through. So really Diablo is not going to be the main game plan for Alessandro in here, but you can use it as a tempo tool to try and really press home the advantage.
I'm surprised we've got to see. Look at that. Our 2 participants definitely hitting that dap up before we get in to the final game of our grand final at the Disney Lorcana Challenge in Dortmund. This is incredibly exciting to see which of our two Illumineers are going to be taking home that trophy and making their way to Worlds. It all comes down to this. The crowd have got bated breath, ready to see what happens. Let's see how the altars work this time.
Right, Alessandro, they have an Ursula Deceiver. They have, in fact, two. They also have that Obedient Raven, but no sign of that legendary Devoted Herald. On the other side, Alex, they have the Cinderella. They have the strength of a Raging Fire.
Only that one.
Yes. Will we see a big mulligan here for Alex, or are they going to play it safe?
I think we might have to try and dig a little deeper.
In that altar phase, right?
In that altar phase to see if we can find exactly what we need. Because you're right, we know that Ursula is going to be there. Oh, look at that. We've actually... Every time we think we see the cards that they're getting rid of, it's the opposite way around, and we've never managed to guess it. What we can try and guess is, will Alessandro play the cards backwards for the last game of the tournament here in Dortmund?
I vote no. They're going to mix it up.
I'm going to vote yes.
I think you could be right. Well, I'm regretting my vote already, actually.
Let's see what and let's see what we did manage to get
so
from
Alex
altar.
kept, I think, Cinderella and Aurora, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I think you're right.
It gives you a couple of options on that very first turn. Alessandro, they have the Maleficent Spy. They have the Devoted Herald. Fist bump. Let's do this. Game 5.
Game 5. I was right. Pay up.
Oh my goodness, they did it.
Every single game, 5 games in a row playing the wrong way. But is that reversal of fortune, like I described, going to happen now? Which of these two is going to take this? The way these games kick off could well determine the path that they both take. Is that another Ursula? No, we're going to see that So Be It getting inked. And there's that Ursula Deceiver. Let's take a look at the hand. Okay, Aurora, Strength of a Raging Fire, Let the Storm Rage On, and 2 Troubadours. As long as that Ursula Vanessa is also there as well, that's going to start singing some of those. But like you said before, Joe, if there's more than one in that hand, it doesn't matter. However, Strength of a Raging Fire going to get rid of something. Let the Storm Rage On would have allowed for some drawing, and that would have probably been very helpful for Alex.
Alessandro, no shift Diablo. Quests for one, of course, they could have it and decide not to shift, seeing that Strength of a Raging Fire, but I don't think they've got the option to shift whatsoever. Now, that's not the biggest deal in this matchup. The Diablo Devoted Herald can actually let you down a little bit. It's a little bit inconvenient at times. It's going to be Aurora for Alex for 1 ink. 1 ink still remaining, deciding not to go the 2 ink of the Troubadour, but preferring the Aurora, and it's another Ursula Deceiver.
That is devastating for Alex. Both of those songs gone immediately with all those singers available. Hopefully in the next couple of turns, we'll be able to see that aerial ethereal voice get some boost under it, maybe off some of the draws. You might be able to sing and start seeing even more of those. What we really need to see is the aerial spectacular singer to be able to start searching through the top 4 cards of that deck and try and find a song.
It's another law on the board for Alessandro. 2 law to 0.
Let the Storm Rage On, not a bad one to have. We're going to see a hard cast here. No, we are going to, in fact, quest once to then have 1 fewer cost for that aerial, ethereal voice. A great one to have there. We're going to save that Let the Storm Rage On, though, so that we can take advantage of that boost effect on the next turn.
And Alessandro just inked that 3rd Ursula Deceiver. So Alex is feeling safe and sound with Let the Storm Rage On in hand. Only 1 other copy of Ursula Deceiver in Alessandro's 60-card deck. Love the decision-making there from Alex.
This is all incredibly tense. But what I like is that both of our players, both of these grand finalists, actually, just from their pure aura that they're giving off, it feels like they're having a good time. They're just trying to take these moments seriously and give it the time and reverence that it needs. It's okay to not rush these decisions when you're in quite literally the last game of the tournament, the last game of the weekend after a long couple of days. Here we go.
The pace of play has been extraordinary. It's going to be friends on the other side paying 3 ink for that. Not the fastest turn, of course, you'd rather be singing that, but it is going to be inking the wrong lever, and then a double challenge of Ursula Deceiver into that Aurora.
It's worth getting rid of the Aurora. We all know that when you quest with it, that's going to make Princess and Queens cost 1 less ink. That's pretty important. Get rid of that, maybe slow down some of that board coverage that Alex is going to get. So actually, probably the right thing to do there, challenging into it.
Ed, big decisions from Alex in this turn. This is where it could be all won or lost. Boosting the aerial makes perfect sense. They set this up. But what do you do with the Rapunzel? What do you do with Let the Storm Rage On? Those are the two cards Alex is flicking back and forth on. Of course, you could sing with Cindy, removing an Ursula Deceiver, then challenge with Ariel, removing the other, and then inking to play the Rapunzel and drawing a card. But that would leave your Whisper Ariel exerted and vulnerable to a Madam Mim Fox.
I don't think we can play the Rapunzel. It's a 4 cost. And there's only
you're right.
2 ink. It looked like
2
3.
ink already.
The dark colours of the sleeves made it hard to see. So actually can't do that this turn. But looks like we are possibly going to do exactly what you were saying with the sing. We're going to hard... Oh, no. We're going to get into that Vanessa. Do you know what? We're going to wait for the next turn.
Patience from Alex.
Very good. Showing real restraint in not oversharing on this. That's really good.
Doesn't ink this turn either. Now, Alessandro, we've talked about that cheeky little bit of discard available. Alex not leaving 1 card in hand. They've got 2, and that is a conscious decision to make sure that a well-timed pull the lever from Alessandro does not let Rapunzel through the trapdoor.
Very important at this point. So right now, let's get some questing on the board, because let's be honest, the thing that's going to decide this is all that lore. Let's bounce one of those Ursulas back to hand. Wait, did we bounce something off Madam Mim Fox?
Oh my goodness. We have, it's the Storm Rage On. It's been discarded by the Ursula Deceiver. Alex thought they were safe, but the Madam Mim Fox has other ideas.
Bouncing it back to hand, immediately playing it, and just being able to snipe that out the hand. Alex is in quite a tough spot at this point, and also Alessandro has already started questing, already started trying to make a gap, and we do see that Lucky Cricket in the hand. That's going to be one you want to get rid of very quickly, Alex, because that's going to quest up that board very fast. There's that aerial ethereal voice again. Also that Rapunzel gifted with healing. Currently, knowing that that's in the hand, very cleverly, Alessandro didn't actually do any of that challenging or questing, because then we knew we could challenge into that, get a little bit of damage, get some card draw right now. That was actually a great bit of foresight from Alessandro, because now we're not going to give Alex any resources. 0 cards in hand, unlike Alessandro, who's going to play that genie and get a card draw.
Yeah, Alex's patience might just come back to bite them, as the Diablo is now shifted, and Alex is going to be reaching for the top card of their deck and hoping for a song to remove this Diablo and draw off those aerials. Big top deck moment incoming once Alessandro finishes their turn.
This is a huge top deck moment. We're going to see a couple more quests. Right now, we're starting to widen that gap, building up a really good board. The Diablo, Devoted Herald, taking a huge prominent part.
Rapunzel.
It's Rapunzel. Now, are we going to use some of these? We can't challenge because it's evasive, but we could go into the Madam Mim Fox, try and maybe get some extra stuff. No, we're going to go into the Ursula there, put 1 damage on it, then play Rapunzel, gifted with healing, get the draw off. What do we see off the top of the deck?
Yeah, but it also is going to be a draw for Alessandro with that Diablo Devoted Herald. A song could have made such a big difference here. Of course, Rapunzel could still have drawn Alex into a song. In fact, it looks like it might be, but not exactly the kind of song Alex would have been hoping for most, because that Diablo is still going to be on the board. It's going to be cards drawn for that aerial, but it's going to be another card drawn for Diablo Devoted Herald.
So we're going back over after inking this Ursula Vanessa. Alex taking the time to think this through, because from this point onwards, the momentum is going to start carrying Alessandro closer to victory. Let's get rid of that Ursula Deceiver with that aerial, ethereal voice. That one is currently unboosted. It's okay to maybe put a little bit of damage on that. Use that 3 strength. Use that challenge power. It's time to start clearing the board.
It is a nail-biter here. Alessandro, 6 law ahead. They've got that early advantage, but Alex just starting to get a bit of a foothold in this game. But it could all change very quickly, Ed.
It's looking very much like it's changing. That Lucky Cricket's come down. I'm surprised we didn't see the Dumbo as well, maybe trying to make some moves, but that might happen in the next turn. We are clearing the board there, getting rid of all of these. Alex is in a real disadvantage right now. Alessandro starting to race ahead. The next couple of turns are pivotal. There's another Diablo. You can't see anything. There's no cards in the hand. The hand doesn't exist. Let's see what there is of the draw. Alex raising his eyebrows. It's not what he wanted to see. This could be it.
Now, Ursula Vanessa comes down. Did Alessandro remember that Diablo trigger this turn? I didn't quite catch it.
If it was lightning fast.
I have a feeling they might have missed it. They're feeling maybe a little bit too confident at this moment. Alessandro has been laser focused the whole time, and that maybe just suggests they're feeling nice and confident right now.
I think we might even see maybe the Dumbo come down at this point. No. Let's see it. Alessandro, what are we going to see? We're going to see that Elsa, the fifth spirit, getting rid of that. And there's the handshake! Your DLC Dortmund champion is Alessandro!